I don't know where to start. Hi. There's a lot that's been going on. And I had a script, but I had to throw it out because there's nothing that works. Because nobody's listening anymore. I ended up spending 10 plus years playing Destiny. But no matter what I do, it feels like we're being pushed away as gamers. And that's Bungie is allowed to choose that. I started a family because of Destiny. I have a son because of Destiny. I have a wife that's equally as much a gamer as I am. And we found each other through Destiny. Court of Oryx, to be more exact. Back in D1. And it feels like Bungie lost their way. I don't know who was in charge of fun, but whenever and if ever they were let go or just put aside, it kind of ruined the game. For years, it was difficult to get back in because I've always been halfway decent. I don't need any kind of recognition. But I've been good enough that I could end up with the sweats. And the lower brackets pools of sweats were just so filled with either way too sweaty people or cheaters. And then a while back now, and that's why it got so bad. I just stopped playing the game. And I love the game. I love the lore. I love the stories. I love the characters. I love the gunplay most of all. But it seems like all of that just kind of disappeared. And the more it disappeared, the less fun it became. There were things here and there. We could still play some of the things, some of the strikes and whatnot. But the community kind of just died out. And I know it really didn't, but for me it did. And I'm making this video because not too long ago I was part of the server slam for Ark Raiders. And my wife pointed out that this was the first time she's seen me happy playing games in a long time. That should mean something to Bungie. Not because of me. Forget about me, but if I'm the only one that felt that, sure, okay, that's me. But I don't think that's the case. And if they don't understand what they've been doing to their own property and been so gung-ho on Marathon that they forgot what their current game was supposed to be, that's really bad. Because that just shows what they're going to do to Marathon in a few years. Remember, Destiny was supposed to be, and I'll quote from the start, like they said, if you can see it, you can go there. And I understand that changed over the years, but you have to remember that Destiny was supposed to be your legend. You made stories within their predetermined lore. Whatever happened to that, I have no idea. The acknowledgement of fewer and fewer Guardians, the acknowledgement and understanding of what the community did has become less and less, to the point where, without knowing about it or without thinking about it, you've lost interaction with it. I mean, yeah, we as characters interact with their characters and in their set pieces and whatnot, but there's nothing from the community. We're just checking off boxes that they set up. And then, again, that is fine. Somebody expects that to be within reason, but it used to be more. But it's no longer that. It no longer is. Destiny used to mean something. I know I sound sappy for saying that, but coming from Halo and throughout the 360 generation and the original Xbox, the games meant something to a lot of people. There's a reason why Microsoft got to be so goddamn huge within the gaming industry. But they lost that. And nothing can last forever. But Bungie kind of fumbled the ball. And crunch time and deadlines and everything too much. But you can't just give up. And I hated the fact that they made Destiny 2. I never understood why they did that. Because Destiny was supposed to be the space gun Halo equivalent of World of Warcraft on consoles. It doesn't matter what the people saw. It doesn't matter what Bungie themselves wanted it to be. No, it's not an MMO. You don't get to choose that when you've made something that fulfills all the check marks for that. If you wanted it to be a space opera, sure, make single player games with co-op features, drop them to us, and then we'll go through them. But you made something bigger, and not taking the accountability for that crown, not taking that mantle and running with it. You lost out on esports opportunities. God damn, I remember D1 could have been so fucking awesome. And D2 just didn't seem like it, but you could have. And then you wiped everything away from D1. And while D1 still is there, you wanted to make something new. Fine. But you can't complain that it's difficult to make content when you have all of D1 to pull from. Just once a month or once every couple of months, take any set from D1, armor, weapons, whatever, and put it in D2. You had weekly rotating bounties and weapons and sets in D1. And none of that really exists in D2. There are some things here and there, but you can't really call that a rotation. You have so goddamn much content in Destiny 1 that's just sitting there. And you don't put it in D2. And then your players complain that you don't have enough content, that there is not enough. Unless there's just a couple of people working on Destiny, which there should not be. I don't think there's an excuse for a billion-dollar company to fumble that hard. Over the years, I've been talking with my wife about this, and I think we've figured out that at the core of it, Bungie and Destiny, they're like a classroom in a school. And every season, somebody new enters the same classroom. I'm not sure it's the same in the States, but at least here in Norway, while you have a set classroom, you tend to switch classrooms depending on the classes and subjects and whatnot. And over the years, first grade, second grade, and whatnot, they move their new classrooms because first grade classroom is still first grade. And it seems like every time a new group, the next class, comes to take over the old classroom, Destiny 2, nobody does cleanup. That said, nobody that left cleaned up even a little bit, tidied up a little bit before they left. But nobody that comes in does any cleanup, it seems like. It feels like, with all of the bugs and whatnot, for their own sake before they start on their stuff. There's too much stuff in Destiny that needs to be fixed. Which is why I've originally wanted to make this. I wrote a script for this, as I said, where I called out Glad, I called out Astacross, I called out so many people for wanting Destiny 3. See, that's the problem. You can't just take all of it. And we saw this from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. You cannot take all of what you've done and just throw it away. It's not that kind of game. And that problem is amplified for every time people bring up Destiny 3. You have a base. Fix it. Do cleanup. If you have to do some overtime, because you guys didn't do overtime years ago, that's kind of your case, and you need to do that. You need to clean up all of the things that has been lagging behind, that's been just dragging that anchor of just overdue stuff. You have to look at it, and you have to clean it up so that the next part can be good. And I thought we gave, or I thought Bungie kind of asked for that when they asked for extensions, and like they pushed DLCs to later times. I was like, okay, cool, but then why hasn't it gotten better? I mean, you have to have two sets of people, somebody working on cleanup and somebody working on the new stuff, not just one or the other. One will lead to the game's death, the other one will just add to the pile that's not being cleaned up, and sorted out. And no matter what we do, it's too late to ask for it now. Dado said it best when the Eververse store was about to drop. The second it goes from just cosmetics, it becomes a problem. And remember, the Eververse store was introduced in Destiny 1 as a way for Bungie to make and earn some extra money to pay for more stuff, better fixes, more time, basically, because time equals money, and in this sense, it didn't really work out that way, did it? I can't really say that we've seen the benefit of that, which is really bad, because goddamn, they've gotten so much money from me. I don't even want to think about how much I've spent, and I'm not a whale. I shouldn't have spent all the money I have. But I've spent a decent chunk of money on Destiny. And it's not enough. It just doesn't give us, the players, a payout. You have the option to pull from so much lore, from the community, from what the game was supposed to be that we never got, fine enough. The original story is kind of hidden there for reasons. But there's so much to pull from, and you don't. And it doesn't make sense why you don't. Back to that classroom analogy, you're supposed to kind of make it yours and fix it, but that stuff takes time. And you can't change out everybody every season, which it feels like you've done. And the studio didn't end up suffering until the later years, but the players were suffering from the start. Destiny 3 isn't gonna fix any of this. It'll just put Destiny 2 in a corner, broken as it is, without most of the stuff that ever was in it, and then make something new. No. Over the decades, I've played a lot of Call of Duty, and every time they did that, it bothered me. I wanted them to do a multiplayer mode aside from the single player mode, where they just dumped game modes and maps and everything into that, so that you could just add more new maps. Features and whatnot, sure. I guess there's a downside to having just one and not having it updated over time. Somebody's going to get mad for the old stuff. Somebody's going to get mad for the new stuff. Nobody's going to be happy most of the time, but something like that should work. I mean, Counter-Strike is a horrible but very good example. But it's not Destiny. And Destiny isn't Destiny anymore. I hadn't realized that Destiny Rising was actually fully out for the EU yet, and I haven't played it because of that. And a friend of mine that recently attended the last marathon test pointed out that he had played that game so much without paying money for it, where he has almost all the characters he wants fully upgraded or whatever. I thought about it, but I don't like playing Destiny anymore. It's no longer fun. And that could be my fault. That could definitely be my fault. Because if I've stopped looking for people to play with, and my current clan is kind of slowly dying, that's on me to some extent. I mean, for Christ's sake, I sat through, and I kid you not, 32 hours of Crota hard mode on Destiny 1. I was on a shitty internet connection, way the fuck out in the woods, snowstorm and whatever. And I remember this because it was during Super Bowl. And not that I was watching Super Bowl, but we were LFGing people left and right to try and get through. And at the end of those 32 hours, one of the guys had to go and check on his chili. And we were 4 out of a 6-man team there. And we beat it 4-man. Which makes less sense, but whatever. 32 hours in. The 4-man in Crota hard mode. I didn't even get the crux. We had a lot of fun pointing out that, oh yeah, no, we got kicked and whatnot afterwards, but the bastard actually got the crux. And he hadn't done shit. He checked on his chili, which was good, I guess. But, yeah. And there have been many stories like that throughout the years. Again, I randomly found with a friend, we were running community help, I guess. And ran into Court of Oryx to see if anybody needed help. And I found this random Swedish girl that was trying to do it. And I ended up having a child with her. She moved countries for me. And we're building a life together. But the more as time goes on, that doesn't seem to include Destiny, which is where we met. And over the years, we've told many people, well, how did you meet? Blah, blah, blah. Through Destiny, through a game. That was more rare back in the day. I guess more have done so over the years now, specifically after COVID. Shutdowns really didn't help either, but there's still something different about that. It's not the same. And I was happy about that. And funny enough, we weren't the only ones. Many did. But it doesn't feel like Destiny is a community game anymore. It's barely MacGyvered together. And I mean, even the Halloween event that's currently going on is so broken that people are throwing their hands up. And it feels like I might do the same. I might, for prosperity's sake, just stick around a little bit on the sideline for Destiny upgrades and DLCs and whatnot that I've already paid for to some extent. But Battlefield just dropped their Battle Royale. I've had a lot of fun in that game. And our creators dropped an hour ago, and I'm making this video instead. Bungie, you're not making a game for the shareholders. Shareholders, what the fuck are you doing? You are supposed to be able to help and influence and steer them in the right way. Not dude bro the fuck over, oh yeah, we need to wring every single last cent out of our customers. That's not how you make a game. That's not how you build a community. And Destiny is a community. And a lot of the people that used to play it came from Halo. Halo isn't supposed to be like COD. Destiny isn't supposed to be like COD. Copy some things here and there. Don't make it into something else. Don't make it into something it's not. And of all the people in the world to realize that, the evilest corporation in the world, EA, realized that, or were at least held back enough to make Battlefield 6. And it's probably the best Battlefield. I don't know what's going to happen with Marathon and Destiny for the future. I'm looking forward to some extent, a little bit, the Star Wars DLC for Destiny. But there is so little faith in Bungie left over that it's not fun anymore. And the more you take away fun just because, oh, you can't break the game like that. Well, it doesn't matter if we break the game when cheaters already cheat. And you don't take away the cheaters. And you don't actually do things for the community. You do things for your shareholders, which are happy to take our money when things go well. But you're not doing anything to keep us there. I'm probably going to miss the last of the Halloween event in Destiny 2. And aside from coming back for DLCs, stuff, I have still the last couple of raids, haven't done those. Last couple of dungeons, haven't done those. So I guess I have some exotics to collect, but I'm not sure it's even worth it to do that. Remember, a mobile game based on your universe is doing better than your game. People are playing your game because of perceived notions of we need to. The end of this year is going to be very interesting. Because if that Star Wars DLC is good, you might live to see the next year or two. But with all the rumors going around, all of the leaked stories and whatnot, it's very hard to see Destiny, which I adored the game, but it's hard to see it survive. And the worst part is that it's always online, and none of y'all fuckers can start your own server. So we'll never get to see this game ever again. Destiny 1 is a more complete game than Destiny 2. maybe don't focus too much on 4K texture packs and other things. Make a good game. And if there are things and bugs that make people happy, that fun, how about you don't break that? See what happens to the community. I think it's too much unfairness that's in the game at the moment. And you're doing too little to appease and help your community. I don't know how else to say that, but that's, yeah. I'm gonna go and feed my son. And if I have time, maybe play some Arc Raiders before I take him to swimming lessons. I don't know if and when I'll be back. There's too much stuff around. And being a father is different. But, yeah, I'll catch you around.